All right, yes, Daybreak Show on Rock City 101.9 FM here in the city of Abeokuta. Let me apologize for this slight delay in the takeoff on this segment, Citizens Forum. Yes, that Lagwaja song, a lot of prayers going on for the country, particularly those who want not just the speedy recovery of Mr. President, but a speedy recovery in our economy. The society needs to change and change quickly. We don't want that situation where Gary will be imported from elsewhere, wherever it is coming from. We don't want it. And the only way where we can avoid that is to ensure that we have all these things in abundance. Officially, we've been told that this country is in recession. Well, government has told us that there are indices indicating that we are coming out of that recession, even though many of you disagreed with that position of government. That is why on the Citizens for this one, we continue a search for a positive way of wakening up our economy. That's what we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at this morning on Citizens Forum. Dele Ayodo is my name.
And I am Toby, economy, and no doubt we all agree that the economy is in a recession, is actually sleeping. Efforts are being made to actually wake it up. You might talk about recovery. Don't forget that the federal government actually is talking about launching an economic recovery growth plan, which they believe will begin to get Nigeria's economy on its feet from the third quarter of the year 2017. They are even of the opinion that many of these strategies are already yielding results. You recall that the CBN launched a new policy through a modification of the existing monetary policy, talking about the foreign exchange, just a few days ago. And you could see the dollar firming up, you could see the naira firming up, making some gains against the dollar, even though it traded at the at around 521 naira to the dollar. It is now at 501 naira to the dollar. That's in the space of about 2 days. Is this a good sign? Beyond all this, what about alignment of both monetary and fiscal policy? Don't forget that the federal government wants to borrow about $1 billion from the World Bank. How do we go about this? What are the conditions to be met before the World Bank could part with such a huge amount of money? What about extending or increasing the number of barrels that we actually produce? We're talking about oil per day. Right now, it's about 2.2 million barrels per day. That is the benchmark for the budget. They are thinking of increasing it to about 2.5 million barrels per day. One of the plan is also to include privatization of some federal government selected assets to raise the needed funds to implement the plan. So I've talked about asset sales, increase in tax revenue, blocking leakages to avoid non-payment of tax, and of course corruption, tackling corruption as it were. The government also intends to spend heavily in expanding critical infrastructure, talking about power, roads, and provision of rail network. This you are talking about 59 points in this strategic economic recovery plan. But beyond all these proposals, which is still on paper, we have someone who believes that Nigeria's problems is not that enormous, and it's not as if we cannot get out of it. And he believes we have a very robust, or he has a very robust solution, an answer to the challenges of Nigeria. We have in the studio the chairman of the Alliance for Africa Economic Development Initiative, Reverend Godwin Bolanle Sonekan, who has spent a good number of years outside the shores of Nigeria, but of course he's been in the country for a while now. Reverend Godwin Bolanle Sonekan, you're welcome to the Daybreak Show.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right, Reverend, let's start with what are those fresh ideas, fresh initiatives you think government should begin in order to have this economy out of recession?
Well, I could tell you that the first problem we have is not identifying what our problem is. But then, if you know what the problem is, it will be easier to get the solution to it. And that is exactly what our organization look into. And that is the borrowing of funds. That doesn't really make any sense at all. Because first, we have to realize and understand perfectly that other countries that we're borrowing from, they're not borrowing from anybody. So what system do they use? Simple mathematics. In the beginning of time, during the days of our father, they determined the value of our currency, our way of life. That was when we were using cowrie as our currency. The sorting out of cowrie is very delicate, hard work, great dedication, and loss of life as well. But that determined the value of our economy. We have free market economy long before the Oyinbo people even come in. But we lost that because we don't pay attention to exactly what our problem is. Nobody's going to help us solve our problem. We have to solve the problem ourselves. That's why I thank God that even though we put this plan together in the United States of America, but I was born in this country. Though I am an American citizen now, but I was born in this country. So whatever help that we provide, Nigerians are still providing the help for themselves. So we are helping ourselves. So simply, what we have to take out of our problem, our way of life, is the borrowing. United States doesn't borrow money from anybody. Great Britain doesn't borrow money from anyone. Germany doesn't borrow money from anyone. They have a system.
What is wrong in borrowing to run a business or an economy?
This is not a business now. We're talking
Okay,
about a nation.
an economy, yes.
We are a sovereign nation that have a plan to take care of our people. When we are borrowing, we are leaving the life of our people in the hand of others to determine. Because if the person who wants to lend you the money is going to put some condition on it, and the condition, whichever way it goes, is going to affect our people. Because the person that lends you money wanted something for it. So in this case, how does he get his money that he's going to lend to us? That is where we come in. And we want to educate the Nigerians, the economists, the National Assembly as well. Because that is exactly how the other nations of the world provide for their own economic situation. It is
So
legislated.
educate that borrowing is wrong or is not a way to solve economic problem.
It is not. So let me put it this way. You know, back in the days when our forefathers are using cowrie as the currency, to harvest the cowrie, you have to go into deep sea diving. And in those days, our fathers doesn't have any oxygen. They don't have scuba gear that they can dive into the bottom of the ocean. So they rely on their strength to go to the bottom of the ocean, harvest the cowrie. If they take one more cowrie than their strength can carry back to the shore, that's the end of their life. So in these days, when 20 people go into the sea and only 10 people comes back, that determines the value of the economy. Because they lost 50% of the people that went in to get to harvest the cowrie. So when they come back on shore, they will exchange the cowrie for cloth material and various other goods. So if it's only 19 people that comes back, they will spend less cowrie to exchange, because I mean that's a good business, because only one person was lost. So in those days we determine the value of our currency.
No, sorry, let me get this straight. Okay, if you are against borrowing as a way of running the nation's economy, what are the options
Well,
that you want to
we just
put
say it this way:
forward?
we have a legislative system in this country similar, or probably say parallel, to that of the United States of America. We have National Assembly, we have the Congress, or which is the House of Reps in this country. We have the Senate. What do? They appropriate. So their business should be in the appropriation of funds for this country to spend. But in this case, in our country, we do not have, America is a tax and spend country. They tax their people so that the economy will keep buoyant. So what happened in this case now is that they would say that they have a debt ceiling. So this is how much we can borrow.
Where do they borrow this money from?
Okay,
because
simple.
You said earlier that America doesn't borrow.
They don't borrow the money. So what they do, they go to the nation goes to the National Assembly and asks them to appropriate a certain amount of money that is going to be called stimulus package, economic stimulus package. Now they will show how they're going to pay the money back. That we will tax our people will pay the money back. So that appropriation could be in any amount of money, sometimes in trillions of dollars. So when the fund is appropriated, then the House will prove that yes, at the same time, we have taxation program for our people that they will pay. The United States will simply say, well, our children will pay the debt. So then when our children come to their time, they say that their children will also pay the debt. So the debt will continue like that. That's what they call tax and spend regime. That's exactly what we need to do. In this country, nobody pay any tax. I won't say that because the people that work for the government or work for organizations like yours, you pay tax. So they deduct the tax from your payment. But those people that are on the road, on the street, how many of them pay tax? There's a lot of money on the street. The money is not in the system. But if you have a good system in place, all that can be over. Because those people that lend you the money, they are not giving you the money cash to go and spend. They will tell you that they wanted to do construction work. I was told a few days ago that some Chinese goods came into Alaba. But the Chinese are asking for dollars before they can sell the goods to you. If the goods already entered this country, why are they taking dollars? Why can't they take naira? You putting the people on the streets to go and sort out the currency. So if they go out and sort the currency before they can buy the goods from the Chinese that imported the goods, the rate will go up, and because the demand is a matter of demand and supply. So in this case, somebody else is controlling our system. Our government is not in control. So we have to take that. What do we have the National Assembly for? What do we have the Senate for? What actually is their job? This is their responsibility. But knowing how things work in this country, I was born in Nigeria, and I'm not going to say exactly what my age is, but I would say for 47 years I've been in the United States of America. I know how the system works here. But before I left, I wasn't a baby, so I know how the system works here too. And since I've been around, I've been watching things the way it happens. So I realized that, look, if you have a good plan, you got to be able to work hard. You have to put the plan in place so that it can benefit. You got to get results. I've been hearing a whole lot of stuff as to how they're going to do it, how they're going to fix it. One accountant was on another radio station a few days ago, and he was saying that we don't need price control. If you don't have price control, how are you going to tax the people on those goods? And how are you going to make money for the government or for the country if you don't have price control? I said, well, look, this is how we got it wrong. If someone is saying that we don't need price control, we're not speaking from the same level, and we're not speaking the same language. We are talking about economics now. And the sustenance of the life of our people in this country. It is terrible. To me, your 1 naira is $1 to me. I feel very uncomfortable sometimes when I have to buy a bottle of water for $60, because that's what I call it. When I pay 60 naira for a bottle of water, I look at it and say, well, look, I'm paying 60 naira dollars for a bottle of water. I don't know how people can live with that. I cannot live with that. So that's why I dedicated my life that I must see to it that something is done. I've been on this for quite some time now.
Reverend Sonekan, you've given two way out: appropriation, and then you want the
Taxation, yes.
to be drawn. First, with the appropriation. Now, my understanding of appropriation, the standard way it's you permit, you allocate,
That's correct.
you permit some
government.
amount of money
Yes.
or resources
Yes.
to be used for something, that's when you appropriate. It's
That's
not
correct.
that you are giving that thing physically. So in this one, even if the National Assembly appropriates money, it's not that the National Assembly is handing over the cash to anybody. It's appropriating in the books.
Yes,
That,
appropriating. Well, in this case, what we are saying is that, well, we want an appropriation for an economic stimulus package.
yeah, I understand. What I'm saying is these are in the books. It's not that the National Assembly will hand over cash
Yeah, but
to
when
anybody.
when the national,
If they appropriate, in this situation, we are looking at Nigeria, not anywhere else. When you don't have the figure you want to appropriate, what do you do?
well, you see what I meant by appropriating it for economic stimulus package. First, economic stimulus package, that fund has to be used to stimulate the economy.
That's the thing. When
Okay,
you don't have
but
that
that fund,
fund,
okay, you see,
what do you do?
when the National Assembly appropriate funds, that means they are giving the central bank the go ahead to print the money. So when the U.S. government seek an economic stimulus package, the Federal Reserve Bank print the money for them. But it is a loan that you are loaning yourself the money, but you have to show how you can pay so that the system does not collapse. Okay, how do you pay the money? Simple mathematics as well. Okay, you look at it this way: we don't pay tax, but if you tell anyone today in Nigeria that you will be paying 7% on every goods that you buy, but the naira will become the same value it was in 1986, everybody will jump. Everybody will like it. They will, if you tell them to pay 7%, they will say, we will pay 14% or we'll pay 10% because it's going to make our life a lot much better. We'll be able to.
Reverend,
Yes.
interesting submissions here. You really think that pricing or taxing almost every commodity will force down the price, the value of the dollar against the naira?
It's not forcing anything, but just remember, we have a borrowed money that we appropriated from the house because the house can do whatever. They have the power to do whatever they want to do because you just have to keep this vehicle going. They are responsible for this country to keep moving. So if they say, well, we are now borrowing from our own system, don't forget, we still have revenue generating resources. We have crude oil. You see, you have to use what you get, what you have to get what you want. We have leveraging. Right now, at one time, a few months ago, crude oil was selling about $100 a barrel. It fell right straight to $40. So we didn't die. We're still alive. So if we decide that we'll hold our nose for a second so that we can breathe, so we can, swim back to the shore and say, okay, we are not selling our crude oil anymore because it's not making us any more money. It's not getting us out of this problem. We will rely on the economic stimulus package and we'll raise the money that we need, borrow money, and we'll tax our people to pay. So the revenue source now is no longer dependent on the crude oil. But let me tell you one thing. If Nigeria doesn't produce crude oil will go back to $1,000 a barrel because Nigerian crude oil is the best crude oil in the world. That's the only crude oil that can be refined to power aircraft. They can find all kind of fossil fuel to fuel any other vehicle, but they can't find another one to fly the plane. Nobody's going to take that kind of chances. So they're still going to be needing to buy the Bonnet Light crude oil. Very powerful resources.
So you're calling for a freeze in production, especially Nigerian crude oil.
No, I'm not saying they should freeze. I'm just using that as an example now. You see, we call it leveraging. You got to use what you got to get what you want. So if the crude oil is not helping us, so what good is it then producing it? It's not helping us out of the economic recession. It's not getting us out of the mess that we're in. So when we want to do the same thing that the Americans does, we want to do the same thing that the British does. They don't borrow money from IMF. They don't borrow money from anybody. So they have house just like we do. They have National Assembly, they have the Congress and the Senate. What do? They legislate a new law, new rule. And that is, well, excuse me, we are no longer going to be dependent on anyone. We want to carry our own weight. There is a lot that we need to do and a lot of correction that we need to make. Look, I set up the organization some years back, Alliance for Africa Economic Development Initiative. We are in partnership with University of North Florida, Florida Coastal School of Law in Jacksonville, Florida, to develop this system so that we can help Nigeria get out of this mess. Reason that I did that was that when I was living for the United States in 1970, we were spending pounds, shillings, and pence. I did not change my money in Nigeria. I changed my money at JFK Airport to dollar. And right before my eyes, I saw the currency diminishing. I used to be proud of the fact that Nigerian currency is more valuable than the US dollars. I bluffed to some people saying that your country, your currency is about 2 times uh, um, American money. So I said, but mine is more valuable than the US dollars. All of a sudden, it went south. It even went beyond south, straight into the ocean.
How did we get to the bottom of the ocean? If we were to look at it, where did we get it wrong?
Well, we import almost everything into this country. Toothpick, toothbrush, everything. Doorknobs, hinges, bulbs, everything that can be manufactured here locally. We are importing them to this country. Many other countries, I want you to listen to this now. Many other countries of the world that are developing, just like Nigeria, send people from their country, because of the resources that we have, to come and build factories here and manufacture goods so they can send money back to their home, because they have no other mineral resources. They have no other way of earning foreign currency, hard currency. So they will send their people here, set up the factory, and start manufacturing. What happened to our engineers? But the problem we have is that we don't have a system that can help the people. When you create economic stimulus package, what it really means is that that fund is going to be used to stimulate the economy. So what do we do to stimulate the economy? In our situation, we need to set up industries. We need to, so let's say, let me put it this hypothetically, that if the House appropriate 500 million naira, or $500 million, and we said that this fund is to stimulate the economy, that money has to be spent in stimulating the economy. But the best thing to do,
and what critical sectors?
Road construction, agricultural program. We're talking about developing an agricultural system in this country, but we're thinking about borrowing money to do it. It's never going to be done. It's never going to be done. It's not going to work. But when you have economic stimulus package and you use the fund to fund other people to study the agricultural system, let's look at it this way. You have cooperative farming program. You set up, you acquire the land, and this is the easiest way to do it. If you are building roads, railroad tracks, because I heard you mention that in the beginning of the program, you're building roads, railroad tracks, you already appropriate the money through this economic stimulus package. You are not borrowing from anybody. Many countries of the world that can build the best of the best railroad tracks who want to come in and enjoy this opportunity. But we don't want to give the opportunity away to any other person, or else we're not stimulating our own economy. We have to empower the Nigerian engineers, farmers, to start using this fund. When you have the fund, because one big clause with the economic stimulus package to maintain the credibility of the National Assembly is for them to make sure that the fund is used to stimulate the economy, or else
the local economy.
That's correct.
To avoid capital flow.
That's correct. That's correct. So by creating jobs for the Nigerians, I look at it this way. If I have a cooperative farming program, we have a lot of graduates in this country that doesn't have anything to do. If you take 3 of them, you give them 30%, 30%, 30%, and say the farm is yours. This graduate never had a job, doesn't have anything to do, haven't been doing anything. Now have a company, own his own business. You take this economic stimulus package, you give it to him to study the farming. Okay, now what happens is, he doesn't sell the goods that he's going to produce. The cooperative farm owns 10%. The cooperative owns 10%. Each one of them owns 30%. for 30% of the business that you never know that you're going to have, the 30% of the business you never dream of that you're going to have, you will take good care of it.
Now, Reverend, let me find out from you. What exactly are um, the opinion or conclusion of Nigerians outside the country who stayed locked like you about our economy? Is it that in which they have lost hope? Is it that in which they think diasporan Nigerians can contribute to an immediate quick recovery of our economy?
But the major problem that we have in this country, especially for most of us in the diaspora, is that we don't get recognition. People here doesn't even care about us. We care very much about this country because we're proud that this nation is the most populous nation in Africa and has all the resources that you can talk about. So why is it like this? Especially, when you're exposed. You've been in the United States for so many years. You see how good things are. Some people said Donald Trump wanted to send the Nigerians back home. They make a case out of it. No, he didn't want to send the Nigerians back home. What he's saying is that you guys that are helping us build the United States, what the hell are you doing here? Excuse my language. Why don't you go back to your home and help build your country? Your country is now becoming a milking nation for other people, where some other people go and take advantage of you. So go home. Go do something. He didn't send Mr. Adebayo Ogunlesi. He didn't send him back to Nigeria. Instead, he brought him into his economic council. But people who doesn't want to do anything, because there are some people who are looking into Nigeria and say, well, this is an opportunity. Look, I don't feel good when I change dollars to naira. I don't feel good because I feel like I'm ripping somebody else. When I have to change dollars to naira at 500 naira to $1, I feel like I'm ripping somebody else. I don't feel good about that. I'd rather don't eat than to go and change the money. But some people take advantage of it. They send money and they become rich just like any other person in this country. People are very selfish.
Sorry. So is it not helpful the money sent in from abroad, either euro, pound, dollar? Is it not helpful rather than keeping it there? Which one is more advantageous to
Uh,
the country, Nigeria?
well, because I won't rely on somebody else's economy. I don't want it. I want to carry my own weight.
Why
I
then is the
want. I
concept of
want.
a global village?
Well, if it's favorable to me, yes, it is good. But if it's not favorable to me, then it's no good. Okay, just imagine if another country come into this country, and that country is here purposely to suck out the dollars that we earn. Is he a friend? He's not my friend. He's taking advantage of me. So I won't call him a friend. What I have to do, one time I came into this country and I wanted to come and establish an industry. So one of my cousins at the Ministry of Industries said, oh, you people from America, all you want to do is to come in and establish industry. You don't even think about working like we are working here. So you can work with us. He told me that I have to go and work with one company that just established there. That was Oshogbo Machine Tool. He said if I can work there. I have a tool and die company in the United States that I am running. But you want me to leave that behind and come and work with you here. I said, okay, I will go. He said, well, but you have to go to India for 6 months training. I said, you must be out of your mind. I studied in the United States, and you want me to go to India to go and learn? To go and learn what? To go and learn what? Before I left this country, I'm a first-class machinist. So now you want me to go to England to go and learn about what? So I didn't get mad. I get glad. So instead, I went back home and I started thinking, look, if this is the mentality of my people, I got to do something else. Let me turn Nigeria around if I can and make Nigeria economically self-sufficient by empowering the youths. I can't do much for the older ones, but if it touches the young one, every one of us have children. So if you're not qualified today to be part of the benefit, your children will be. But then our life will be better. A lot of kids are standing up, looking very foreign, directing our young engineer. Most of our engineers are better than them. Okay, look at the roads that they're building here in Abeokuta. Who are building the roads? You can go there and see that the people that are building the roads are Nigerians. So, but what is missing there is who is carrying the cash. The company that's building the roads finance the construction work. So he's the one. This is where the economic stimulus package comes in. We don't wait for somebody else to finance it. We would our appropriated funds will be financing those kids, and they will be building the roads themselves. They will be building the roads for themselves. Okay, if
using indigenous
using that,
companies.
yes, when they lend us the $1 billion, and they come into this country to build the roads and everything, and the railroads and all sort of things, are they going to pay the Nigerians dollars? No, they're not going to pay them dollars. They're going to pay them in naira. They're going to buy the granite in naira. They're going to buy the iron rod in naira. They're going to buy everything in naira. But when they're taking their money back, they're taking dollars. But you know what? We are mortgaging the lives of our children. Okay, let's put the responsibility on our children that we are mortgaging their life now. Let's tell them, okay, we're going to be taxing ourselves in this country. You kids will pay the tax because we are doing it for you.
Reverend Sonekan, what you're suggesting, as good as it may look, may be termed as moving against the almighty dollar, moving against the Uncle Sam. Do you think Nigeria has the needed weapons in her arsenal to wage this economic war?
Okay, you see, don't look at it that way. Let's put it this way. When I started this program, I went to my congresswoman because I didn't have the privilege or the access to the World Bank. So I went to my congresswoman. God bless her soul. She's deceased now. Tilly Fowler. I said, I need an entry to the World Bank. I said, because I want to do something, but before I do it, I want to make sure that I'm cleared, that I'm doing the right thing. So I went to the congresswoman, set up the entry for me to go to the World Bank. I went to meet with the World Bank official, and I told them, this is my plan. I want to stimulate the economic system in Nigeria. I want them to become economically self-sufficient. But I am an American. I don't want to do anything against my new country. So am I going to be doing anything right if I do what I want to do? The experts at the World Bank said, look, we stimulate our economy in this country, meaning the United States. They said, but one thing I want you to learn now is that we stimulate the economy so that our producers can produce more, so that we can export more. So what you want to do actually is to help us, because when naira is $1 to $1, you will buy 2 or 3 items. But when it becomes 10 naira to $1, you cannot buy that one item anymore. So you're not importing from the United States. But if you bring it back to $1 to 1 naira, then you will be importing more from United States. You will have money to buy goods from everybody. So simple analysis. It is not against anyone, but benefit for win-win deal for everyone.
All right, yeah, we will have to take this break to allow the national news to come up at 10 o'clock. After that, we should have with us Reverend Bolanle Sonekan. We are looking at suggestions to how to awaken our sleeping economy, as it is being said. Don't go anywhere. Being there listening to Rock City 101.9 FM is the Daybreak Show Citizens Forum. This morning we have Reverend Bolanle Sonekan. We are looking at the E-Zone recipe for Nigeria's economic recovery. Of course, we have the federal government's economic team, but so far, many of you say the evidence is that they have not been able to give us a foolproof economic recovery plans. All right, we won't delay the telephone lines by extension. Your own contribution so long. We will get what you think about what you have heard so far. Your response, your questions on any of the issues raised 0809868734 and 0909146967 for those of you who wants to use the telephone numbers.
You can also reach us via the short code 32120 is the short code number. All you have to do is to type rock, leave a space, type your message, include your name, and send to 32120. If you're on Twitter, we also expect you to reach out to us. Our own Twitter handle remains at Rock City FM. When you call, please turn on the volume of your radio set. Go straight to the point after telling us your name.
Please, no insult, abuse on any individual personality as you make your comment. Don't come out with claims that cannot be substantiated. Respect the opinion, contribution, and position of the other caller. Thank you. All right. Yes, we have our first call. Hello. Morning. We want to respond to the first set of callers.
Okay, well, I will start from the last caller. Well, first of all, we cannot influence the US dollars. But what I want us to understand is that we have our own currency. We can build on our own currency and have the currency have good reputation. Like I said, when I first went to the United States in 1970, I took the pound, shillings, and pence that we were spending then and changed it at the airport. Nigeria is the only country that I know that you can change the dollar on the street. You have to go through the banking system in some other countries. America doesn't, like that very much. And if you have a solid economy, you have a solid currency, a strong currency, you don't even know when somebody's stacking your currency away somewhere or not. Recently, I heard that, they found about $80 million in somebody's vault in this country. But did you know whether Americans even feel that? Whether they even know that somebody was stacking the money away somewhere else? No, they don't. Because they have substance to back their currency. That substance is what we have, and we need to get that going in this country. Use the substance to back our currency. What is supporting our currency? In the olden days in America, they said they have gold standard until the gold standard could not support the currency anymore. But common sense support the US currency. We have what can support our currency better than the gold standard. Everybody needs the crude oil now. I don't see anybody melting the gold to drive their car or plating their car with gold, but you need the crude oil to drive your vehicle. So we have something that can back. We can have an oil standard economy. And that's exactly what we have structured. And we have to have this substance to back it up. And that's exactly what we're talking about now. So I don't know if that have answered your question, because I wanted to move on to another one now, saying if I have already reached the vice president. Yes, I do. Like I've reached President Obasanjo, but I'm not here to blame any government, because sometimes when we say government is us, we, the people. Somebody works in the office there. I reached President Obasanjo's first administration, and I brought the package there. They look at it. The president referred to his economic advisor, not to his economic advisor, to his advisor on policy and planning. The policy and planning advisor sent the information to the economic advisor and told them that they should invite me to Nigeria. They did not invite me, so I come to Nigeria because I don't need any invitation to come home. So I came here, and I went straight to the economic advisor. The economic advisor was not interested. Was asking me, "Are you interested in any position?" I said, "I'm not interested in position. I'm not competing with anyone. I don't even want credit for what I know. You can take the credit for it. I just want the people in my home to be comfortable. That's all. It's as simple as that." They didn't do anything. Every time I I went to Yar'Adua administration as well. It stops at the economic advisor's desk. But it is beyond that now. I've already contacted the Senate president. I've already contacted the vice president, the acting president now. I've already sent the package to them. But somebody there received the package and they're not making any attempt to even contact us. Somebody suggested last time that maybe I should contact the governor. But I'm sure the governor must have heard me on the radio. But nobody called me. If I try to contact them, I know what I've been meeting before. Nobody will listen. Nobody wants to hear. But if they really care about the country and the people, and this is about time that we need to care. Somebody made a bad suggestion. Bad suggestion. He said, "Why don't you contact their opponent and let them use it to campaign against them?" I said, "No. So you want Nigerians to wait for another 1 year or 2 years before Nigeria can be better? No, see what the currency is now, where the currency is now. It's paining me. I want the changes now. And the changes can be made immediately. Immediately. What we need to do is to sit down on a round table and discuss. Our program is a public-private sector program in partnership with the government to discuss, to table a new program, a new plan that can move this country forward. Another person also mentioned about that's borrowing as compared to this program for the agricultural program. Simple. You see, you cannot borrow money to do business. At what rate? At what interest rate? When you have the privilege of legislating your own future. Like I said before, when we were digging the Cowrie, people put their life on the line, but it was determined by us, not anybody else. Until somebody came in and showed us a piece of paper, said, "Dump the Cowrie, take this piece of paper." And that person that gave us the piece of paper, he's the one that controlled the economy then. He's the one that tells us, what is the value of the currency. When we were spending pound, shillings, and pence after the independence, because we were relying on the value of the currency of Great Britain, our currency was more valuable than the US dollars. But now they let us go on our own. They put us on a free falling system. You see what's happening to dollar. We just have to sit down and try to put this thing together and work together to make sure that we can revive the economy. Simple procedure. We have legislators in this country, so they can do something.
All right, let's check some of the messages that we have already. Okay, this one came in much earlier. Quick check, and then we got a message. Okonlomo also sent in a message talking about critics. We got it, thank you. There's no doubt about it. We are still in economic wilderness and we need to do something fast. Stop borrowing madness. That's one. Stop the waste of our resources. Two, enact laws that will ensure maintenance of public goods. Olatunji Mozakios sent in that one. Are you aware of mass stealing and smuggling of rice from shops in Adaton, Kawo, Shashiro, Alogi, and some major markets along the expressway? And there's a rumor that it's the customs. Some said it's rice smugglers. Well, the police are not even aware of this. Please do something. The price of rice is 20,000 naira. Please have the masses voice of the people. All right, Jadi sent in that one. Do you call it stealing, or they are being seized by custom officers? All right, this one says, in addition to earlier submission, we need to step up our production capacity through mechanized farming rather than manual, and then reduce the excesses of political office holders and assassinate corruption. Olatunji Mozaki sent that one once again. This one says, good morning, sir, to the guest. How can we benefit from the initiative, especially with the youth that are graduates and we are living in rural areas and have interest in agriculture? Can we have your number and the name of your initiative and to benefit and get in touch with you? That's Kende from Ibogila. All right, keep sending your messages. 32120 is the short code. Type rock, type your message, include the name, and send to 32120. Okay, if you're on Twitter, you can also tweet us your contributions. Let's go back to the call. You want to react to any of this message?
Let's add the calls to it and then react to issues. For those who are asking for a number, please, that will not be on the program. There will be other ways for you to get in touch with him, but not on the program for today. Thank you, Pastor Sonekan.
Yes, thank you very much. The caller, I thank you very much. And just want to explain a little bit, because I'm here to encourage every one of us to participate, because it is our problem. Nobody's going to help us solve it. So we need to pay attention clearly. I heard what you said about bringing Gary from other places. We call it entrepreneurship. We are losing an opportunity that we have So somebody else is capitalizing on it. But we just have to wake up. Waking up means we got to do something to help us get everything straightened up, to get the mess straightened up. And we have no choice. We have no choice. This situation is not affecting Republic of Benin. The Republic of Benin is not producing oil. Ghana is not producing oil. But this economic mess that we have in this country does not affect them. You know the reason? Because we do not know how to play the game. It's a simple game. And it's called game of economy. So sometimes some people think they are tenants in this world. I never believed so. I believe that we are all landlords on earth. So it's not supposed, one nation not supposed to be better than the other nation. Especially when you are a sovereign nation. You control your own destiny. We are missing it. That's why I'm saying let's get back to where we were. I'm not saying we should go back and start spending cowrie, but we can name the currency cowrie to let them understand that, look, I've been saying this for many years now, and I believe from what I've been saying, that's what brought cowrie into your one new bicentennial currency. If you look at the new bicentennial 100 naira, you'll see cowrie drawn into it. And I have this specimen of the new currency being circulated for the past maybe almost 12, 13 years now. So I just wanted to know that, the program that we are discussing today, it is going to happen because Nigeria has no choice. We have to do something. I was mentioning earlier about this crazy idea of someone saying that maybe you should go to the opponent and the opponent use it against them. I said, no. We cannot wait because I'm not against this administration. I'm not against any administration. I am not for any one of them either because we are still all Nigerians and we have the same idea and the same principle. We do not care about other person. We care much about ourselves. Some people call me after the other radio station. They are asking about personal needs. I said, well, look, I didn't go to the radio because of your personal need. I went to the radio because of the needs for all of us, all of us. It will touch the president, it will touch the rich man and the poor man. So why don't we just work on what can help all of us, but not yours? If you're telling me about yours and I help you, it might stress me out that I can't even remember to help carry on the program that I'm here for. So I will appreciate if people want to contribute. We are not asking for anything else but pray for us. Pray for Nigeria. Pray for the recovery of the president. Pray for the recovery of our economy at the same time. I believe that this administration can do it because we cannot wait any longer. The administration has promised us a change. But let me tell you one thing. We are getting close to that change. Reason is that before we can straighten out the economy, we must straighten up ourselves first. Change begins with me. You have to change yourself. You have to change your thinking. You are mad. You are angry because somebody else is bringing Gary from someplace else. I know you're not going to buy that Gary from anybody. You will prefer to buy Gary from Omida. So, but I want you to understand, if we don't believe that the changes begin with us, there's not going to be any change. And for the change to come, real change, realistically, we all have to change. And that's why I'm pleading to you. Yes, I would try to contact the governor, but I don't have much time to go and wait in the office for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and 5 hours. But if you don't have an invitation from them, they'll keep you sitting and waiting. So I am not a kid anymore. I'm close to my 70 than I am to my 60. So if I go into somebody else's office and have to wait for 3 or 4 hours, if I faint there, they're not going to say I'm trying to help the nation. They will say, well, no, maybe he's got some kind of disease on him. So yes, I will try to contact. That's the reason why we are on air, so that we, all of us, can be concerned and make the changes. And we can make the changes. And I need to let you know that, yes, this economic situation can be resolved. It can be resolved. So, and God will help us.
All right, let's check out the tweets. We have a couple of them. This one says, any country that borrows to fund consumption is in trouble. No visible way out of recession in Nigeria. It's a shame. That's from Oluwole. Dennis James says United States federal government debt is over $18.1 trillion as of 2015. Yola says nice analysis of borrowing without saving cash is the best way out of poverty in Nigeria. even sharing among states is wrong. Dennis James says, what is the external debt profile of Nigeria in comparative terms to that of South Africa and Egypt? Uh, Yemi Da Vinci says, I disagreed at first with the guest initially because I was afraid of inflation, as his plan seemed to be the kind that Zimbabwe did. However, as the father explained, it seems to me he's saying money for the stimulus package is borrowed from the Reserve Bank. Here is what I see as a flaw to his very good plan and point. The Federal Reserve Bank does not operate like the CBN, which we have here. It's a private organization. Okay, this one says, please ask your guest why he thinks those advisors are not yielding to his advice on Nigeria's currency. Oluwaseyi Ogunbono is asking that question. He went further, saying, what are the further efforts he's putting in place to make sure they listen and implement this idea for the betterment of the citizens? Akrede Camille says, what I appreciate most in the comment of the guests in the studio is the fact that we have to do something quickly or else. I would suggest, I guess, address the press for a wide publicity in order to get the appropriate quotas. That's Oluwasegun Sam Alalade. Oluwaseyi Ogunbono went further. Please ask your guest if the current CBN governor is doing enough on the currency crash of the naira. People are calling for his removal.
Okay, maybe we permit you to quickly respond.
Do you have confidence in the economic team
and the CBN policy?
The CBN policy?
Well, I remember one time in the United States when the election was going on, the candidate then, Ronald Reagan, didn't want to crucify his opponent. He just said that the idea is all voodoo economy. So without insulting them, we don't know. You see, the problem is they are not addressing the problem itself. They are addressing what is not even the problem. I remember when we were in primary school, when the teacher want to ask a question, everyone has their hand up. Isa. We don't know what the question is. Do they know exactly what the question is? I'm not criticizing them, but you see, they are also discussing about this Eurobond. That's borrowing money. When the Europeans gave us independence in Africa, the English gave us independence. They put in a bottle. They closed the bottle and gave us the bottle. They said, this is your independence. The day you know how to open the bottle, then you will get your independence. The French gave the Francophone countries their independence and show it to them and put it back in the pocket. And he said, the day you know how to pick a pocket, you will have independence. But now, it is getting on us. It's telling on us that we don't get the picture yet. We don't understand exactly what these people are saying to us. Do something. Do something. When we were off the air, we discussed about a radical change. What we were looking for from the APC administration is a radical change. If they're talking about change, let it be radical. When was the last time there was a radical change in this country? So even whether people will like it or people will not like it, make the change first. And then let it please everyone. Let it touch everyone. A young man asked a question that he is in the rural area at Bogila and he's an educated person. Yeah, we're coming after you because you are the one that we're looking for to help us rebuild this country so that it will not be bringing Gary from other places. Another person also, I will look into that Twitter. The person mentioned about the Federal Reserve banking system and how the system that the Federal Reserve is not like our central bank. He is right. He's right. The United States have central bank before the Federal Reserve Bank. They abolished central bank 3 times before they reached the Federal Reserve banking system. And what I haven't mentioned to you is that the crop of this program is about going into Federal Reserve banking system. Federal Reserve banking system and free market economic system. Free market economic system means that we will be regulating our capital market system. If the system works the way it is planned, you cannot even import goods into this country. You know, some people are selling oil future. Oil future is not physical. They're selling the future of the crude oil price. And they're making money outside of this country. and the Nigerians are not making anything out of it. So if you have a regulated, market-driven economic system, that's not going to happen. Nigerians will be benefited. We have a lot of graduates in this country, intelligent people. Look at the message from the Twitter that the guy was saying it. I know, where is that person? Why is he not in the government? So that he can advise his people, because he knows about the Federal Reserve banking system. You know how it works. If America adopted Federal Reserve banking system, let's do the same thing.
All right, there are more tweets. This one says, a quick question for the guest. Are you related to Chief Ernest Shonekan? Why not approach him so that he can take it to the Council of State meetings? Okay. Or JB, that's Yemi Da Vinci. Or JB Sunday says, as far as I'm concerned, it will only take God for the good intentions of Reverend Shonekan to see the light of the day. Powers that be in this country are terrible. Akrede Camille says, I advise our guests not to relent until they get to the people at appropriate quarters. They have to listen to him. Oluwaseyi Ogunbono says, please ask your guests why Nigerian banks don't borrow small-scale businesses funds, but prefer the rich, big companies. Lamzi says, I agree with the guest speaker this morning. Thanks for this topic, Rock City FM. Thank you too for listening. Oluwaseyi Ogunbono says, Nigerian leaders are the source of the problem, particularly the elite. They don't want ordinary people to survive, but want to enslave them. Oluwaseyi Ogunbono went further. Sir, I will advise you to tell Nigerians the name of those advisors that didn't yield, so that we can shout on them to do the needful. Igego Raman says, God bless the Reverend in the house. May he continue to be influential. He can as well hold a press conference for wider outreach. Oluwaseyi Ogunbono says, please let the guests react to questions raised. Why is he preventing those tweets? He should let them. Okay, which questions, Sheyi Ogunbono? Okay, this recent questions. Why banks don't borrow small-scale businesses funds? Okay, I think those are the questions of Oluwaseyi Ogunbono. Let's go for that. Igego Raman, okay. Befad Bemi says, nice analysis from our guest at the studio. Hope our country will cross their teeth and dot their eyes from borrowing. Thanks, sir. That's Befad Bemi. Sheyi Ogunbono. Okay. Sheyi Ogunbono's question.
Well, on the small scale industries, the bank is in business to make money, and the banks will not lend money out if they don't have any assurance that they're going to make, the business is going to prosper. In the United States, they have Small Business Administration owned by the government. They are the one that lend the small businesses money, and they help you run your business, manage your business. There's no merchant bank in Nigeria anymore. Though a banker was telling me that their bank has license for merchant banking. What the merchant bank does is that they lend small business money. Then they help you run that business before they see your business going down, because they know if your business goes down, they're going down too, because you're not going to be able to pay their money. So they come in and help you run the business until you get yourself back on track. Merchant banking is not in any bank anymore. I don't know why they phase it out, and it's no longer in the system. So the retailing banks just want to make money for their bank, and they're not going to give the money to a new business owner. This is where the economic stimulus package comes in, because we need to stimulate the economy. So you need to give the money to the person who never had a chance, so that the person can make money. I said it on the other radio the other day. I said, oh, look, there is a young man that make this OGT NEPA, which I call Yanja NEPA. So, but no one is going to help him. Nobody's going to give him money. They should even help him make that OGT NEPA to be able to, that you can make it rechargeable. But nobody's going to put the money down. The bank is not going to put the money down. But the economic stimulus package system, that's why I said it is going to be a public-private sector program. If you leave it to the government, it's going to be run the same way it's been run. Things have been done in this country. But if it's a private and public sector program, both government will be supervising the private sector. The private sector will make sure that they implement the program the way it should be implemented, and we will have real free economic system in this country. Then we can manufacture goods in this country. Let me tell you something. I am not talking from just from my head. I am not an economist. but I work hard to know about the economic system because I am a manufacturer. I am a mechanical engineer. I went to trade center in this country before I left for the United States. I worked for Ministry of Works and Transport, mechanical workshop, Quarry Road. And I worked for Iweko cement factory before I left the country as a first-class machinist. So when I get to the United States, I was able to do a good job, work and make good money, while others are doing some odd jobs to support myself and to send myself to university. And I said, well, look, one day I'm going to go back and start a manufacturing and go to Nigeria. We can manufacture almost anything in this country. I can guide the group to how they can manufacture. We call it job shops. Not so the person who makes this telephone makes the whole thing. Somebody make the rubber. Somebody make the screen. Somebody make the padding. So in a job shop, somebody bought the, will buy the whole thing together and put it together. So and they will assemble them. Who's encouraging them? Who's doing that? But the moment that the House passed an economic stimulus package, we are now responsible because the whole world is watching us. America will not lay low on you if you pass an economic stimulus package and you are using the money. I said it one time. I said, the reason why God is delaying this is the fact that if it doesn't come at the right time, you put an economic stimulus package in place, somebody will go and squander the money. It will not go to what it's supposed to do, and then we will not get any result from it. Then the international community will come after us. Our currency will then be killed, totally killed. It will become worthless.
Okay.
So,
all right, then let's go back to those tweets and their messages.
Okay, this one says Reverend Bolanle Sonekan is quite on point and fits the universal currency as the nature and reality of money. Re-evaluation and restoration of the Naira and Kobo as a legal tender is prescribed in the People's Sovereign Charter. For same reason, why your guest is invited to contact this number for further information and cooperation to salvage Nigeria. That's from Citizens Watch. Reverend, good morning, and we're looking forward to hear this kind of things from people that have zeal for agriculture. Well, I am from Ikiti, and how can we meet you, sir? As Mr. Sunday Ola from Obantoku. All right, you want to quickly react to that?
yeah. Well, thank you for the good words, good kind words. I'm not doing this because I really have so much interest, but I'm doing this because I'm forced to do it. I have no choice. I cannot be watching for things to go bad, for the economy to be getting worse every day, and nobody does anything. Yes, I've been to many other places that I want them to listen to me. They're not listening to me. They have one starting problem. So somebody wants us to expose those government advisors that doesn't. I'm not going to do that. So I'm not going to tell you what their names are. But there are so many of them. They are still in the government. When they see that somebody's going to fix this problem, and they are hired to be the one to fix the problem, and they don't know what to do, what do you expect from them? So that's why I said I am not looking for any credit. I don't want to be given any credit. So I just want us to straighten out the mess so that we can be economically self-sufficient. Our young men will stop rushing to go any other place to go find a good living. This is a great nation, good nation. We don't have earthquake in Nigeria. Thank God for that, because we are blessed. We are blessed. We don't have all the disasters that other countries have. We are blessed. We have mineral resources that many other countries doesn't have. We are blessed. So we have the resources. We don't have the people to lead us. America said consensus is in the absence of leadership. In this country, reverse is the case. People look for consensus. They don't look for leadership. We single-handedly plan a program that can help this country because we think that, yes, as a leader, you have to step forward and lead, not follow. So if all our leaders can understand that, look, if I want to make it, look at Donald Trump. The man was determined to become president of the United States because he has a plan. And I believe, I want you to understand perfectly, the whole world is going to benefit from his presidency, and he will be reappointed, re-elected the next coming
That is
election.
a prediction.
Yeah, it is. Well, I predicted this election
No,
that
this
he's
one.
going to win,
Right.
and he won.
Now, because if you take our time, we have less than 4 minutes to do it. Let me ask you as we wrap this up. Um, are you hopeful that this economy we're talking about will soon um, move to a first gear?
Yes, very, very
In the
hopeful.
recovery?
Very, very hopeful. Because the timing is just right. The timing is just perfect. I wish we can even move before the president comes in so that he can be more healthier. If anybody's saying that the president is sick, this economy will make anybody sick. Look at the president of the United States, this young man,
So
Obama.
you think it's
Obama
overwhelmed?
become,
You think our president is overwhelmed by the economic problem?
yes, I mean, who won't be? Look, Obama, how old is he? He went into the house, to the office, and he become gray. Everybody that goes in there become gray. So when President Buhari, an old man, he's not a young man, and have all this problem on his shoulder, economy that cannot be fixed. They don't find a solution to it. The right information doesn't get to his table. So what do you expect the man? If he gets sick, we're the one that make him sick. Fix the economy before he can get back to it.
All right, thank you very much for your contributions this morning. Those who called, those who sent in messages, and those who tweeted. We appreciate every one of you. Thank you very much, Reverend Godwin Bolanle Sonekan, for coming on the show. We can only wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
That's our show this morning. Tomorrow brings up the open day of the show where you get to talk about these issues and, of course, more about the topics we discussed from Monday till this very morning. I am Tobi Joseph. Have a wonderful day.
Of course, you can continue with this debate on our different social media platform. Dele Ayodo is my name. God bless you all. God bless Nigeria. God bless Rock City.